Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful gussets. So the first step in making anything is milling rough lumber. So that's what I'm doing here. I have the bandsaw with a nice wide blade in it, and I'm going to mill this sapele down into two equal sized pieces. It's probably 2.5 inches thick and then 3.5 inches high about. And I'm going to use those two pieces to make the two parts, the two separate gussets that I'm building. The next step is going to be running them through the planer, and then as you'll see, I'll cut them to length and then I'll start assembling everything. So here I'm going to start assembling the pieces for the gussets. I'm just going to glue and tack nail them together with some 2-inch brads, and that's just going to help them to stay together while they dry. You can clamp them too. It's not going to make much of a difference. You'll never see the nails though, so that's what I do because it's nice and quick and easy. Using a framing square has kind of become second nature to me from my years in training in carpentry. So what I'm doing here is I'm using a framing square to lay out the braces for these gussets. And what you'll do is on the front edge of whatever material you're using, you're going to use even numbers. So I'm using a 10-inch and a 10-inch mark there, and I'm going to lay that out, and that's going to give me an even brace on both sides for this gusset, so that it fits in there at 90 degrees and fits in there evenly. So I'm going to cut that out on the bandsaw, and after I made 2 of them, I just screwed them together, and you'll never see those holes. That's going to be garbage after anyway. But before I start laying out the nice stuff, we sand it on the sander and get those pieces nice and even. Now here I'm doing all the layout, and I'll explain it in a little more detail in a couple seconds here, but I'm laying out for all the pretty stuff that's going on these braces. Now I'm trying to figure out what's going to look good on these braces. So I tried there, you saw me trying to lay out a single curve, and I decided I wanted a double curve with a kind of a peak in the middle. So I'll explain how I'm doing that, but just as a word of advice, whatever you're doing, if it's going to be seen and kind of decorative, take your time, look at it a couple times, step back, look at it. It's better to take your time and then cut it than to kind of go quickly and then realize it's ugly. So take your time, look at it, try to figure out the aesthetics, and you'll be much happier with the end result. So you could see what I did here. First thing I did was I measured down, it's a 1/2 inch, measured in a 1/2 inch from the end and a 1/2 inch from that line over, and then that would be the beginning of the detail on this gusset. Now to find the center point, I didn't want just a regular curve. I kind of wanted a double curve with a point, but you don't want that point to come all the way back out to the edge. Aesthetically it doesn't look right. So what you do to find the center is you get a compass like this. It's just a little easier. You start at the same point on each side and you draw a line. And then you do the same thing from the same point on this side and you draw another line. And where those lines bisect, as long as it's equidistant from each side, where those lines bisect, that's the center of whatever it is you're using. You could use dividers for all of this kind of stuff. And then I got my center mark, and then as you saw I just used a bucket to get that graceful curve, and I got it to meet right about here, about 1 inch up from the edge. and you use that same point. And now I'm going to cut it all out on the bandsaw. I think I'm going to have to get stuff off of this bandsaw. So I just cut them off at the bandsaw. Yeah, kind of looks like a Dutch boat or something. That's pretty cool. Anyway, these are the two gussets. As you can see, they will go right in here, just like this. And those will be on the wall underneath this desk that I'm building. So this is just a nice, easy way to make some gussets. Basically, I will route some profiles on the edges of this to clean it up. I'll also ease this edge right here, so you see the gusset there, but this edge is very sharp, so I'll round that over, and the top edge as well. I'll also put some kind of a detail just so this doesn't look so thick. By easing this edge with something, some kind of a detail, it slims this whole piece down a bit. So aesthetically it looks a little better. So once I get these routed, I'll put it together and I'll show you the final piece. So now I'm just screwing these gussets together. There's some glue in there as well, and you'll never see the screws, so it doesn't matter. After this, I'm going to be putting a coat of finish on it, which is pretty boring, so I will bypass that for your sanity. And then I'm going to show you a couple pictures right here of the finished product. And here it is all mounted up, the two gussets, the Sapele desk, and that's basically it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, hope you learned a little something, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace!